order?
You may.
All right. So I will call this meeting to order for the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority for April 11th at 6 p.m. We have Annette, Teresa, myself, Tasha, and Kim all
If
present.
anybody's talking, I can't hear anything.
Uh-oh. Deb's talking.
I can hear.
I can
Can y'all
hear.
hear me?
I can hear you, Teresa.
I still can't hear anything.
We all have sound.
Yeah, we all can hear each other. Check your volume, maybe. Any better? Can you hear us now, Teresa? Hmm.
I can't move forward if she can't hear us. I guess I'm not sure what to do. Teresa, can you call in? You're a funny guy, babe. Excuse me, I have the clown crowd.
Okay, so she's gonna get out and get back in. We'll see if that does it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Who's Marvin?
I don't know.
Can you? Oh.
Can you hear us now, Teresa?
Hey, I'm back in.
We can hear you. Can you hear us? She still can't hear us.
So what do I have to do? Because then technically, if she can't hear us, I don't have a quorum.
Right.
Then she needs to call in on the phone.
Can you type her that number to call in so that we could move forward?
Yeah. I was just thinking, what number do I send her?
I know.
Let's see.
Maybe Annette has the number and she can just type it to her.
Trying to.
But somebody
There's
else is
somebody-
logged in.
Called in.
This is Paul.
Hey,
Oh.
Paul.
Hey,
Right, I'm gonna leave for a minute. I'll be right back.
Paul, we're kind of on hold. Teresa got logged in, but she couldn't hear us. So I have Annette, myself, but without Teresa, I don't have a quorum.
okay, sounds good.
So we're kind of in a holding pattern while we see if she can call in.
How was jury duty?
Oh, let me tell you, it was a ton of fun. It was a
That's
full week of it.
Wow.
The only
I've
thing
never
I
done
can,
jury duty.
usually it gets canceled before I have to go.
Yeah.
Yep, we ended
you
up
allowed to
actually, yeah, it was a interesting case. And then let me tell you, it's amazing now that body cams are a great thing. It's really cool.
Oh.
So Teresa, I see you're back on. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Seems like maybe not.
Did you see her message that she can't hear anything?
Yeah. Kim's sending her a number now.
Perfect.
Mm-mm. I don't know.
Oh, nope.
Nope. Same as usual.
We do hear you, Teresa.
Mm-mm.
When I try to send her a message, it says she's not in this meeting. There we go. Any chance you can hear it now? Hey, Paul, what number do you call in on? Paul,
719-359-4580.
359, what was the last four?
4580. Then she'll need the codes and password.
Okay.
She get in?
She still doesn't have any sound. I'm sending her the numbers.
But I just had to cut and paste them over here.
That you, Teresa?
Yes.
See your phone
I don't
number.
know
I
what's
hear a
wrong,
voice.
but. Okay, I'm sorry to hold up everything.
That's
That's all right. You
okay.
can hear us now?
Yes, I can now.
Awesome.
All right, then we can call the meeting back to order again.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, we'll call and you're still recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it is 6:16 and we do have a full quorum now. Teresa can hear us. Annette is on. Paul is on now also. So I need, first to have an approval of the agenda, a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I so move.
Second,
I second it.
all those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. Okay, agenda approved. We all received the minutes in the second email.
You have
If-
the minutes from the special meeting came separately. And then the minutes from our last regular meeting were in the packet.
Okay,
I forgot we had 2 sets.
so did we need to specify on the agenda which minute? Well, I guess we can just approve, B could be the approval of them separately.
Yes.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes on the special meeting.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now I need a motion to approve the minutes from the March 11th meeting.
I so move.
I so second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, in your packets, you have our financial reports that have our financials year to date. There is, Kim and I met, just so that you guys know, Kim, we both had some concerns about some legal bills. And I have reached out to Amy Lake, who is in charge of the billing at White Bear, and I'm waiting to hear back. So the bills have been paid, but we're way over on our budget. So were there any other questions on the financials that you received?
are we way over because of the back and forth on the development agreement?
Yep, between the development agreement and redoing the operating agreement, we've got, yeah, about 4,000 in going back and forth on the developers agreement because of them all fighting about the craft thing and wanting water. Yeah. So, and then there's another 2,600, I believe, on redoing the operating agreement. So Kim and I talked, because the resolution still needs to be done to move the water rights.
Okay,
And
but we really need to get that right because, you know, can't use the old agreement. We do need to upgrade it, revise it. So,
yeah, the operating agreement has been sent to the town attorney and Ruth, and then Kim, and they're gonna present it to their board or whatever, that decide what changes they want, and they'll let us know.
Okay.
So, but I did, some of the charges that George and them are charging us for are excessive. When you consider that Kim had drafted the resolution or the contract, some stuff that he just modified feels like they were excessive.
okay.
So,
So you know he's gonna bill you for asking him questions about the billing, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That's how they make
Um,
their money. It is what it
yeah.
is. The more confusion there is on our end, the more we pay.
Right. So that's why I went to the billing clerk with my questions on the bill instead of to him. But I did leave him an email today, or a voicemail, I'm sorry, that I did not. We got an email from Ruth that came to me and George and Aaron and Kim. And she was going back and forth over this stuff with Tim Kraft again. And Kim and I met about it, and we just both are like, stop. We are not discussing that anymore. We're tired of spending KWWA money. KWWA made a vote, they made a decision, leave us out of it. And the town board had agreed to that. So to leave
Well, and
us out of it.
And that's the issue, right? Anytime they get an email, the ticker starts.
Yeah.
And we're paying for all of that correspondence back and forth if the town attorney continues to copy our attorney.
Right,
Yeah.
and I did have after Debbie and I's conversation yesterday, I had a conversation with her, especially over the water well agreement, because we did have. We all agreed that there's nothing else to discuss about that until we figure out where we're going with this development agreement. So that's a moot subject right now. So I told her not to cease and desist with all her communications regarding that at this point. And I don't want to see any more emails going back and forth with George or Debbie or anything else regarding the water well agreement right now. So she said she understood, and we're going to leave it at that. So
Thank
I
you
am
so
not
much.
answering it right now. So I am very sorry about that going out. I'm glad you brought it to my attention, Deb, but
Yeah.
I did have that conversation with her after you and I got off the phone yesterday.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's good.
Yeah.
So, oh, sorry. Let me get our agenda. Okay, so so that's the only thing on the profit and loss that we need to figure out how it'll come out of contingency if we're over in the end. So Paul, you're up.
Okay, so we're doing good. The sewer plant is meeting all of its standards. We are still waiting on results on whether the motive jet pumps need to be pulled and evaluated, or if they're good and it was just a faulty wiring issue based on the new pumps and our system being outdated for their wiring. So everything still works for though. And then we are still moving forward with installing meters.
Okay, well, it looks like everything else was going good.
Yes.
We like that. Tasha, you're up.
All right, so I have the efficiency reports for February and March. So for March, we're up to 21.5% loss. And there are a couple of things potentially Paul and I talked. So as they are replacing all these meters, we can't account for what it had already read on the old meter when we replace the new meter. Does that make sense? So we're missing some gallons in between on each of those meters. So those should level out as we get the next meter read. The other thing that I noticed that came to my attention this last weekend when I was coming through town was the fire department had a truck hooked up to the hydrant at the post office, and they don't report to me any of their bulk water use. So I was going to see how we wanted to handle that. I mean, I can send a letter just asking them to keep, track of gallons and just report those to me by a certain date, or if that needs to go to their board. Deb, I didn't know what your thoughts were on that. But that may also be some of our losses
They
just
also-
water we're not accounting for.
They also did a training up at the school this 2 weeks ago. So, and I know they were hooked at the hydrant at the school.
Yeah.
So that could account for some of it too. I mean,
Yeah,
at the end
and
of March.
yeah. So I thought about reaching out to them and just asking them if they could get me an estimate of the gallons that they've pumped month to month, just to plug into our efficiency numbers. And just see if that, helps us keep better track. All of our bulk water is pretty well measured and kept track of, everything through the meters, the well meters reading good. So as we're replacing meters, we have a little bit of a loss there where we change them out. And have some gallons that aren't accounted for. But as many fires and as much water as has been needed recently, their use could account for some of that as well.
Deb, do they use meters?
No, they don't.
No,
So how would they be able to guesstimate that without a meter? Do you know?
they ought to know how many gallons their tanks hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're filling a 2,500 gallon tanker, X number of times, I mean, it might not be down to the metered gallon, but they should be able to get us, an estimate.
Okay.
They should be able to get pretty close on what they pulled for the Simla fire too when they left.
Yeah.
Because they would have left loaded.
They were running today
Yeah,
too.
so-
Deb.
Yeah. So I have a
Um,
meeting tomorrow with Chief, so we'll talk about it and see what kind of,
Okay.
maybe we put a notebook in the trucks and turn it in at the end of every month or something like we do with the county.
That sounds good.
Yeah, if I could get them on the same kind of deal as like the county and, well, all my bulk water accounts, so they keep track from the 15th to the 15th. I get that from them, late in the month around the 20th or so. Because for everybody else, I send out bills that are, that go with all the rest of the bills.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could do that, that would be helpful.
Perfect. That's what we'll work on. I'll talk to Chief and have him or Aaron reach out to you.
Cool. And then that's really the only significant, change on any of my reports. If anybody has any questions, let me know.
Do you want to cover the correspondence here while you're
Oh.
on your stuff?
Yeah, we can do that. So in your packets was an email from a gentleman who owns the 94 acres up by the water tower. And he was made aware of the fact that we own his well, the well on the property and the water rights on all of that property. And he's trying to come up with a workaround to having to tie into our water and sewer. So there is a well there, which KWWA owns. And if septic's not there, I think he's wanting to install septic. So his latest pitch is that, so he wants to subdivide 10 acres off of that, which would take it out of that development. And in this, he's proposing that he purchases a water tap, but then uses the existing well and connects to a septic at his expense. So he would be responsible for maintenance of well and septic. He says that the well went dry. That is my problem, not KWWA, which is not true because it's our well and part of our entire system. And then at such time in the future, when water and sewer lines are feasible to connect, he would connect to KWWA. Currently, he would be responsible for all of the infrastructure to connect himself to water and sewer up. So he's wanting to be up 134, as far east as he can be on that parcel. So I've had a little back and forth with him just because he keeps proposing things and we keep pointing out that he doesn't have water and sewer and it's in the town limits, and so he's bound to do these things, and then I get replies that are labeled things like great idea and win-win. So So I've not responded to this at all. I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention and see what, you know, the thoughts and feelings are of the board regarding this.
Okay, so I'll say something. So if I own my car and you want to borrow it and I tell you it's $50 a day to borrow my car, then it is what it is. There's no, well, I'll go to Walmart and buy you groceries if you let me use your, there's no barter here. If the water rights are ours, it's unfortunate that he doesn't know that, but as being a homeowner that also got into a situation where I wasn't aware what my water situation was, I get it, but it's too bad, so sad, buyer beware kind of thing. So if it's not his, it's ours, then he's got to pay for the taps and use the water and sewage the way the town deems or KWWA deems. And that's it. I don't think there is any other situation legally that we could get around with.
I have to say, I would agree with Annette. You know, when the county wanted service, we made them hook in. It's that, and they paid
Yeah,
tap fees and they paid to bring the service across there, and I'm sorry, but it is the way it is. And
Yeah.
he knew when he bought, if he didn't know, then that's not our fault. It was very clearly recorded.
Yeah, I would say we've found all the documents that definitely there. I mean, there's no doubt that we own the well and all the water rights, and I mean, there's not wiggle room in the deed on that.
And I think you respectfully reiterate and let us know when you're ready to tap in.
Well, at this point, I mean, I'm happy to do that. And I can say, you know, it's gone to my board and this is the opinion of the board and this is where we are. So.
Teresa, do you have anything you want to share on it? Okay, I've lost her again. Okay, so that you can just take that and run with it, Tasha.
Okay. I will do that.
Perfect. Kim, do you want to do grant updates?
Sure. I have resubmitted our draft of the well application to DOLA. Working with Jeff at CDPHE on the pre-qualification aspect that we have to get through to move on to the next step with them. Debbie and I got an email, I don't know if you've seen it yet, Debbie, an email from DOLA regarding our admin grant.
Oh,
We lost you, Kim.
you muted yourself.
Sitting here talking.
There you go.
Well, okay, let me start over. Okay, so I resubmitted the well project grant application again. It's draft form. So that is in their hands again. I'm still working with CDPHE regarding the pre-qual requirements that we need to satisfy before we move on to the next step with their consideration. And then we did submit an application for the admin grant to do that rate study. Debbie, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but we got an email just before I left the office today from them. Said that it looks like our letter that we originally sent has gone to the internal staff for review, and they are requesting a small revision to it. Or that you just email it to them. You have to email it to them. So I can cut and paste that into an email if you'd like and send that over to you. What they're suggesting is it's that whole mineral energy impact statement and how our request correlates to a mineral energy impact. actually what they've suggested, Deb, is we take the same verbiage out of our water well application and just send that to them to be inserted into the admin grant request for the rate study.
Whatever you need me to do, you let me know. I am off running all over the countryside tomorrow.
Okay,
Is it bad if we don't do it till Thursday?
I don't think so. This is one of those that doesn't really have a deadline. It's
Okay.
just, when we get them all the information, then it will be considered in its entirety and then they'll respond at that time. Yeah.
Let's just make a plan that you and I will get together Thursday then to take care of that.
Okay, that sounds good. And that's all I have right now.
Okay.
Actually, hold on.
Okay.
We did get an email back from the energy office, the Colorado Rural Water Association. I gave you or talked to you about that, Deb, their
Mhm.
report, and found out that they actually did one of these in 2021. I was not aware of that until they brought it to my attention. So what they did is they took the 2021 recommendations and updated to 2023 and sent us a new response to that. And really what it is some suggestions of items that we can upgrade or revise in our infrastructure that would save us money down in the long run. That's now in Paul's possession. He's going to take a look at it and review some of their suggestions and see if they're feasible for us and at what point.
That would be great. Then Paul, next month, can you come back with suggestions?
Yes, I can.
That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that it then, Kim?
That's all I have right now. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're at public comments. I only see one other person. I have a Marvin on the screen. If you have any public comments, you're welcome to unmute. Seeing none, I will move on to old business. We have the ordinance for the water determinations and the bargain and sale deed. I am going to make a suggestion that I will give you, Kim, all of the determinations that I believe need to be transferred. And we have Ruth draw up your ordinance and the bargain and sale deed, and then we just do the public meeting like we need to do and get that done.
Okay.
So at this point, it would stay tabled, and I would prefer that, since it really is a town ordinance, that we have Ruth do that instead of White Bear.
I agree.
Okay. So is everybody in agreement that we just table that for now and leave it under old business?
Yep.
Perfect. B is clean up the operating agreement between the town of Kiowa and KWWA. You guys all got a copy of that. And as I said earlier, it's kind of still in the working process. Ruth and Kim and Rick and her board will have to kind of preview it. And at this point, they haven't had time yet to do that. So that's going to stay under our old business also, but that is your update. And then C is our rate study and asset management. And Kim already kind of updated us on the rate study grant stuff she's looking at. So I think that'll have to remain under old business.
You had asked for the rates from Bennett and Elizabeth,
Yes.
which I had sent out in an email a while ago, but they're also included in the packet. And so I just copy and pasted this from each of their websites. So it has their base water rates, water and sewer rates, and then what their tiers are, the charges as the tiers go up. So we can add that to our
to that chart
list of
that,
rates.
yeah. So
Yeah.
when you get some time, would you put the chart that Tim sent us and this one kind of into a spreadsheet together if you get time, and then
Yeah.
send it out to everybody for review for the next meeting?
Sure.
I mean, I think it's always good to know what everybody else is at, so that if anybody says, oh, Kiowa's the highest and they're, we at least have a rebuttal. And they know that we are paying attention.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Committee updates. Annette, is there anything really you want to share about our committee and the meeting with where we're at? I mean,
There's not really much to say, I don't think, unless I missed something.
nope, I didn't think so either.
Just saying. Happy to be
Yep.
on that committee. Nothing to report.
Love it. I have nothing under new business. Anything that Annette, Teresa, Tasha, Kim, that you guys would like to bring forward as a discussion item?
I just have a question for my own brain, and it's more for Tasha.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about, sorry, I'm going to take you back to your report because I didn't want to interrupt the flow. But when
That's
we were
okay.
talking about changing out the meters and missing
Mhm.
water usage in between the swaps, is there a way to minimize that where we manually read the meter for the usage that it has before we swap out the old one and then bill manually somehow?
Paul, the reading question would come to you. If
Yeah.
there's a way, go ahead.
Technically, we are doing that. We read the meters on the 15th, and then right afterwards, we just start changing out meters. So unfortunately, there's not a way to go back in and put 2,000 gallons and then put the new meter information, because the program doesn't allow for both slots. So once the new meter reading is in, you really can't add or subtract numbers, because then it just messes up all the math and the meter readings.
Okay, I was just wondering if it's material. I mean, if it's 50 gallons, it is what it is. If it's, 3,000 gallons, that's a big difference. All right, I was just
Yeah,
wondering
most
if there
of
was a
them are pretty
manual way to
small.
do that. Okay, and my other question was, I'm sorry if this is a silly question, but do we charge the Kiowa Fire Department for water at all, bulk use?
Not
Or
for bulk use, we have not. They do pay the service charge to their building. They pay for that. We have not to date charged them for bulk water.
Okay. Because we do for other groups, and I'm not saying that we need to or don't need to. I'm just saying we charge other people for bulk water that may come into contention if we're not. But of course, they're primarily volunteer status, and the service that they provide the community could substantiate us not charging, but just saying if someone asks, we'd have to have an answer for that.
That might raise a question that maybe we should ask how Simla and Elizabeth and all of them handle their fire trucks being filled.
Yeah, I'm just saying we don't want to be the outlier either way, right? We don't want to be the ones that charge for a service that's very needed in our community, and we also don't want to be the only one that doesn't charge.
Right.
Told that Agate Fire Department gets charged for their bulk water.
Do they really? Do they, even when they fill up at the cemetery?
Yeah, not anymore.
I don't-
They built their own well, so they don't have to be charged
Oh.
for bulk water. They only get charged for domestic water.
Okay. So they just bypassed it altogether.
Which again, I'm not for or against or recommending anything other than to understand how we treat our people evenly or equally and versus how other communities do it.
Now, when Elbert County fills their tankers to take them to a fire, they are not supposed to be adding that to their bulk water. So they don't pay, they pay bulk water for tankers that go out on the roads, but not tankers that run to a fire.
I wonder what that does for our numbers. Because I do get a monthly report from them. And through the winter, I guess they wouldn't have split that out. It's all coming, when they get it from us, it's coming through 1 meter.
Right.
So they just give me that meter read. You know, last year they had some, like they used that meter on our hydrants and one in Elbert. You know, so Jay gave me the reading, but said, you know, this many gallons was pulled from a different municipality. And so we, you know, adjusted for that. So I'm curious to know if they're making that adjustment for fire water.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that there was talk about it when the water. So it probably would be good for us to reach out to the head of water ops and that group and OEM and find out how, when there is a brush fire. I mean, they had those 2 fires last year on Elbert Road that I know they rolled on. So just good that we'd all be on the same page.
Yeah, well, I can do some research and look into it and let you know what I find.
Yeah, you might also see what the town of Elbert does too about theirs. So, well, I guess we don't have any other questions. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Teresa, are you seconding? Okay, I'm gonna second for Teresa. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you guys all have a good evening. Thank you.
You too.
You
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.